Hello guys, welcome to the next video tutorial on C++ programming for beginners, and in this video we will see what are STD maps and how to use maps in C++. So first of all, what is a map in C++? So map or maps are associative containers that stores element formatted by combination of key values and the mapped value. So unlike vectors which maintains their values on the basis of index, the maps maintains their values on the basis of key. So maps are associative containers, and if you know or if you have learned about associative arrays or associative sets, you know that in association of sets or arrays there is a key, and on the basis of key you can assign the value to a container. Now let's see how we can declare a map in C++. So to include a map, what you need to do is you need to include a library called map. So include map. Okay, and now to declare a map, you can just declare a map using std map, and then in these angular brackets you can define your key and value data types. So first argument in this angular brackets is the key data type. For example, we can define a key data type as integer like int, or float, or std string. It can be, key can be anything, string, character, integer, or float. Now for our example we will define key as integer and the value as, for example, string. Okay, so suppose we want to make a map of some student based upon their ID. Okay, so using this map we can do this. So ID we will save in the form of integer, and that will be the key of our map, and the names we will save as strings, right? And let's name our map variable as name map. Okay, now to use map or to insert values in the map, it's very simple to insert value in a map like this. So just take a variable, and then in the square brackets you just provide the key, because our first element or first data type here we have defined is the key data type. So key is integer in our case. So in this square bracket we define the key, for example key is equal to 1, and then we define the value after equal to. So we will assign the value to this key which is 1, for example Tom, and in the same way we can add more elements to the map. Okay, so now we have defined a map of some values, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are called the key of our map, and the names are called values, right? Now depending on the key we can access the values. For example, we want to access the value of the map where key is equal to 4. Okay, so we can just write std cout and the name of our map variable, so name map for example, and then you can just call this key using this square bracket, for example 3, and then once again std end line. Okay, and now once I run the code, it gives me the value mark, right? Because key I have associated to mark is 3. Now because maps are associative, you cannot provide the duplicate key to two values. So for example, someday you decide that we will assign key 4 or key 4 the name John and the name some other name also. Okay, so in this case the first assignment will be valid. So there are no duplicate keys, or you cannot create duplicate keys inside our map. Okay, so for example I will try to access the value of name map 4 and run the program. It will only give me the last assigned value, okay, and not the previous values. Okay, so it's not possible to have two similar keys, because you cannot duplicate keys in map, right? Because they are associative. Now in order to iterate over the map, what you can do is you can use iterator. So there is a special class iterator, and using which you can iterate over the map. So using for loop, you just need your map, okay, so this is called the iterator, and we can iterate over these values like this. So first of all, in the iterator we can print the key using this iterator like this. So just copy the iterator, and the key is accessed by the function called first, okay, and the value is accessed by a function called second. Okay, so this is key and the value is it dot second, and here we can make it little bit fancier like this. Okay, and now when I run the program, it gives me error because this is a pointer, so I should use these arrows here instead of dot notation. And now when I run the program, I can print the values with keys and values. So key is equal to 1, then the name associated with this key is Tom. When key is equal to 2, name associated with is Max. Key is equal to 3, name associated with it is Mark, like this. So it will iterate over whole map and show you the values, right? Now you can also print the size of the map like this. So the name of the map dot size, okay, and this function will give you the size of the map. So run it once again, and it says map size is equal to 5. Okay, so the size function gives you or returns you the size of the map. Now there is another function called erase, or first let's see the function called clear. And clear, as we have seen in vector, it clears the map. So now you will after clearing the map, you will just empty your map. So I will call this clear here, and then we check the size of the map after clearing the map, and the result will be 0. Okay, so map size becomes 0 after clearing your map. So it deletes all the key value pairs. Okay, now there is an other way to insert the values to a map, right? And that is, let me comment this, and that is using a function called insert. So just the name of your map dot insert, and it takes a pair. So there is something called std pair, and using this std pair you can create a pair of two data types. So our pair is integer and string pair, because our map is, you see, integer and string pair, right? So I will give the integer and string pair here, and then in the brackets you can give the key first and then the name. Okay, it will print this other values in the map, or it will add these other values with key 6 and 7 to the map. Okay, now for example, you want to search something inside a map. How can you do it? There is a function which you can call over your map, and that's called a find function, and the iterator it, and then your value. So second, because second, as we have seen in this for loop, indicates the value. Okay, so it will find the value 5 inside your map and store it in this iterator, and using this iterator you can find the second value of this. So I will close this and run it once again, and you can see key found, and the value assigned to the key 5 is Patrick. You can see here also, right? On this iterator, using this iterator, you can even delete the value after finding the value here. Okay, so for example, I want to delete the value where key is equal to 5. So what I can do is I can just call a function on this map called erase, will erase the key value pair where value is equal to 5, because we are finding value here, right? Once again we will run our program, and now you can see here in the for loop it has printed all the values except the value 5, because we have already erased this value, right? Now there are some other interesting functions in map. For example, if you want to check if the map is empty or not, so you can just, I will just call is empty, and on the map you can just call this function called empty, map dot empty, and it gives you the value true or false, and if it returns true, then map is empty, otherwise it's not empty. So right now our map is not empty, so it returns 0, right? But for example, we clear our map. After clearing our map, clear, and now I'll run the program. Now it returns 1 because our map is empty, right? So in this way you can use map